Good morning. Welcome here to Michigan International Speedway for another great weekend of racing. And we're getting ready to preview the Alliance Alliance Truck Parts 250 NASCAR Nationwide Series race here at Michigan International Speedway. We're joined by a NASCAR Nationwide Series points leader, Regan Smith, and by winner of last week's race, Iowa Speedway, Trevor Bayne, the newlywed. Trevor Bayne. Let's start with you, Regan. Talk about what's your mindset going into this weekend here at Michigan.
Well, I think, first off, before we talk about Michigan, obviously we got to talk about Jason Leffler and say that our thoughts and prayers are with his family and in particular his son, Charlie Dean. I think most of us have had a chance to meet him at some point or another and be around him. And I know for me, I was around him quite a bit when we were, in the past years, not so much these past couple years, but certainly thinking about that family and prayers are going to be with them. So looking ahead towards Michigan this weekend, having the points lead is obviously something we've been enjoying with the 7-car, something we want to keep with the 7-car, and we want to keep that going for Junior Motorsports. The racetrack is fast right now. It's very smooth. It's got a lot of grip. It's a place that you can draft on other race cars. You can get a lot of tow from guys and things like that on the straightaways. So, watching race tapes from the nationwide race last year, it was a close race. It looked like at the end, it seemed like there was a big pack and guys were able to race 2 and 3 wide. So I expect a lot of the same this weekend. I expect it to be just as fast, if not faster than it was last year as we learn more about the track, as we have a different tire. So should be a very exciting race, and they did a great job with the repave here. So looking forward to what it brings.
Your number 7 TaxSlayer.com Chevrolet has been really strong this year. What's been the secret with that ride?
Well, no secret. We want to be stronger. I think it seems like we're consistently right around anywhere from a 4th to a 7th place race car seems to be our where our consistency is, and we want to be better than that. So we've been working hard to be better than that. I'd say the consistency that we've had to this point of the season is a testament to Greg and all the guys, the hard work that they do, that we can have a car that's week in and week out that fast. And it's also goes to show the things that we're doing back at the race shop are good, that we're doing a real good job of putting together race cars that don't fall apart, that don't have any issues mechanically. The Hendrick motors have been great all year from a durability standpoint. I don't think we've had one issue, so I'm going to knock on wood. Hopefully I don't jinx that. But it's a lot of things put together like that that's been a part of the consistency.
Trevor, you're driving the number 6 Roush Clean Tech Ford this weekend. Here, talk about your mindset going into the weekend.
Well, we're excited to be here at Michigan. I got to test here a couple weeks ago in a Cup car, and I think that was really good and beneficial for our whole program, the Cup car and for Nationwide, just getting more seat time here on the track. I have not raced here in a Nationwide car since the repave, but I did get to come here a couple times with the old pavement and the seams where you slipped and slide around, and I've always enjoyed this place. Like Regan said, you can get big runs at people, use up a little bit of draft, and make sure you can get inside all the way before the corner because this is a very aero-sensitive racetrack. You have to give each other a lot of room, a little bit more than I gave Regan last week on that restart. But, this is a fun racetrack, and we're looking forward to it. The last 3 weeks have been really solid for us, and I feel like we're starting to gel together as a team and starting to get the results that we've been looking for all season long. We've had the speed, we've had the right people. We just had to put it all together and finish races and, not have crazy things happen, whether it's grass on the grill or we had a rear gear at Daytona, just different things that have happened this season. We can't put our finger on one thing that has cost us as many points as we lost early on, but these last 3 weeks, I feel like it's what we need to do.
We're going to open it up now for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation. We'll start off right back there.
Good morning. Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. I actually have questions for both. And Trevor, I want to start with you. Compare, if you will, last week's victory with your win in the Daytona 500.
Last week's victory on track obviously the Daytona 500 is going to be bigger, but the whole weekend itself, getting married is bigger than winning any race because it's a lifetime commitment, and I got to marry a girl that I've dated for a long time and is is my best friend, and now she's my wife. But to have her there in Victory Lane, that was the first time that she's ever got to do that. And then just on the racing side, I think that win was huge for us, probably bigger than my Texas win because it's been a couple years. We needed that momentum this season while we're running for a championship. 2011, the Texas win was big because it was my first nationwide win, but this one solidifies us, and it shows the team that we can do it. It's not something where we can't figure it out. I think that my guys did a good job staying, motivated, staying pumped up all season long while we were struggling. After coming off of 2 championships, it would be easy to get down if you had a couple bad races, but they stayed motivated. They didn't let that snowball, and a lot of that's because of Mike Kelly's leadership and the guys on the team want to win races. And so fighting back after a few bad weeks, finishing 6th, 4th, and then getting a win, that win just, it capped it off and showed them that we can do it together, and we'll hopefully have some more success like that down the road.
And to follow up, Regan, if you will, what would a victory here tomorrow mean to you and your organization? And because you drive for an extremely important person.
Well, I think any victory is a big deal, and each week that we come to the racetrack, we want to win, and we want to capitalize on the opportunity to get points and to maximize that opportunity and to get the trophy and get to take that home with us. So it doesn't matter whether it's this weekend or last weekend or next weekend. You want to win. You want to get those trophies and take the opportunities you can. With that said, this is an important race for all of us. This is in the manufacturer's backyard. So for us, Chevy's going to be here. They have a strong presence, and we'd like to do that for them and give them bragging rights going into Monday morning that at least we can be responsible for them winning the Saturday race, and we want to do that. So there's a little bit of added emphasis on this race for all the teams, and that includes us.
Do you have any more questions here for Regan or Trevor? Right out here to Kenny Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Trevor, you haven't had a lot of wins, but the ones you have been memorable, big, and not only in from your perspective, but also for Ford. Your 600th win, I think, was Daytona for the Cup, and then you've got the 200th win in Nationwide. What would it mean to knock down the one that gets 1,000?
Yeah, they told me when we were getting off the plane that this weekend we get to go for the 1,000th win, and for some reason we love getting those milestone victories. I feel kind of bad because those guys worked hard to get 599, and I came in and got the 600, and then I did get to contribute another one of the 299 before last weekend, or 199 before last weekend. But it's so cool to be a part of Ford. Yesterday we got to come up here and drive a lot of their new product, whether it's full energy cars or whether it's hybrids or they had some Ford Raptors up there that were a ton of fun to drive. But Ford is such a huge backbone of our team. Not only do they give us manufacturer support, but they were actually on our race car last weekend at Iowa with the Ford EcoBoost Mustang, so we could not do it without them. Jamie Allison, all the guys there that just come into our meetings every week and give us so much support and anything that we need, whether it's engineering or simulation or pictures. I mean, they do it all for us. So to get their 1,000th win for them, that would be a really big deal. I think they made a banner up for Sunday in case we do get it for 1,001. They're being pretty optimistic here at Michigan since it is their home track.
Go up next here to Mike and then back to Marty.
Mike Hembry, USA Today Sports. Trevor, because of the weather last week, we had, I guess, what you'd call a pure nationwide race at Iowa. How did that kind of change the feel of the whole thing for you?
Well, going into it, we knew that only one Cup guy would be there, Joey Logano, and obviously you want to capitalize on those standalone races for victories. Anytime Kyle Busch isn't going to be there, you got to make the most of it and try to go win the thing. And not to say we don't do that every weekend, but when those Cup guys are there, it's going to be harder. If you do get a win, then it's that much sweeter. But I love racing against them every weekend. I feel like it makes me better as a driver and makes our team work a little bit harder. But at the end of the day, we're racing against a lot of good teams this season. There's probably 10, 15 guys that could win any given day. And, when the Cup guys aren't there, like I said, you just really have to capitalize on it and know that you're racing against the 3 and the 7 and Brian Bickers and a lot of those guys. And that's who you've got to beat.
Back to Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. This is for both of you, but Regan, I'll address you first. You opened by acknowledging Jason's passing. What stands out to you about him and your time with him and his career and him as a person?
Well, I think the biggest thing about Jason is and I've seen a lot of the same thing, talked about and spoken from other drivers, was his passion for racing and how much he loved it. He, it seemed like he was one of those guys that came up through the USAC ranks and would race anything that there was, and that's what he was doing, Wednesday night, was racing anything that he could get in at any given time. And I didn't get to speak to him too much this year just because I haven't seen him, but hearing what other people are saying, he was very excited to be racing the dirt cars as much as he was, and certainly, I think the one thing as race car drivers we can always say is I'm sure that he had a smile on his face and he was doing what he loved when the accident happened, and that's something that I've always looked back to is whenever it is my time, if I'm on the racetrack, then that's where I like to be. That's what I enjoy doing, and that's, I think, the feeling of pretty much everybody in these garages is that's what we do. That's our passion. So, quick Jason story. There's a restaurant in Mooresville that pretty much whenever I wanted to see Jason, I could go there and you could see him at any given point. It was a place called Field of Greens, and I think for the better part of 2 or 3 years, every time I went to that restaurant, and it was usually once or twice a week, Jason was in there, and a lot of the times he had his son with him, and it was kind of funny to think back to that and think, man, you can't go there and see him anymore. So,
Any more questions for Regan or Trevor? One more to Stan, and then we'll close it up.
Stan Creekmore again with RPMtonight.com. Regan, this is for you mostly, but you both of you have had experience in both Nationwide and Winston Cup racing. Okay, I'm watching a couple of weeks ago, and the fans on Twitter are screaming and hollering about Dover that there's too many Cup guys in there. There's too much. Where's the balance, in your opinion, of the number of Cup drivers in a Nationwide race?
Well, I don't personally have Winston Cup experience. I got Sprint Cup experience. I know I'm giving you a hard time. The balance is, I think the balance is fine. I think that we need the Cup drivers in the series for a number of different reasons, but the one that's most important to me is for the competition level, and it it makes everybody strive to be better. It brings the level of competition up. Obviously, when Kyle's there, we're all working hard to beat him, and we're trying to figure out what they're doing that makes their cars so fast, and each and every one of us are trying to do that same thing to our cars. So I think for that simple reason alone, it makes the Nationwide series more competitive. It makes the drivers strive to be better. It makes us have to work harder as race car drivers, and ultimately we all want to be racing on Sundays, whether it's Trevor or myself who have done some Cup racing, or whether it's a guy like a Kyle Larson who's trying to get to that level and is going to at some point. We all want to beat those guys, and we want to prove that we can race with them week in and week out.
Close out with Alan.
Alan Bestwick, ESPN. For both of you, when someone is beating you regularly, you're trying to figure out where they're beating you. So as you and your teams look at the 54, where do you think they're beating you? Straight away, center of the corner? Have you identified an area you think they have an advantage on you right now? For both of you, please.
Take that one.
We're not just racing a driver there, and everybody focuses in on Kyle Busch, but the way I see it, the 54 car didn't win a race besides Kurt last year, and now he's back at Joe Gibbs Racing. That team has been strong for a number of years. Joey Logano was dominant in that car last year, and I'm not taking anything away from Kyle. He is doing an awesome job this year and getting the most out of it every single race. But we're racing against that team, which is another Nationwide Series team that has the same ability that we do. We just got to figure out where they're beating us, like you're asking us. And to me, the biggest thing is you got to get through the corner. Anytime you can get through the corner, it makes your engine look that much better. You carry speed through the center. You go to the gas sooner, and you make the straightaway longer. So it'd be easy for us to sit up here and say, it looks like horsepower. But honestly, I don't feel like it is horsepower. To me, it's whether it's aero of the body or whether it's mechanical grip, which to me seems to be our biggest issue. I think we just have to figure out the tires better. As they change the tires, we have to be able to keep up with it and get the front ends to work better so we can carry that speed. You don't have to crutch the car with the rear end by freeing it up all the time. You can tighten up the rear end, get forward drive, and then you can make that straightaway longer.
I think that was pretty well stated. You know, it's pretty obvious Kyle's just been a little bit quicker at every aspect so far this year, and you know, the races that he's run, you know, they do a really good job of qualifying, which gives them track position for the whole race, which allows them to adjust their car differently when you're up front and you have the lead. It seems to make everything go a little bit easier, a little bit smoother for the whole weekend. So, you know, there's a lot of different aspects and elements that I know we as a team have been looking at and working towards getting better at. And you know, without pinpointing one thing, it's a little bit of everything that adds up. And you know, the results have shown that they're the best team in the nationwide stuff right now.